Hello and welcome to Crash Course Tutorials. Today we're going to be going over Blender. We're going to be using version 2.71, which is a 3D modeling program that also deals with animation. So let's get right into it. So what you're going to do is you're going to open up your Blender program, and you're going to see what's the default home screen. You're going to have all your normal stuff right here behind, and it's all going to be blocked by this black screen. So to get rid of it, you just right-click right here, and it disappears just like that. So over here you have your Properties panel. You have another Properties panel. You have your timeline right here. You have your info thing right here. And then you have your 3D modeling tab right here. In your 3D modeling tab, you'll notice you have three objects. Your default objects are always your cube, your camera, and your lamp. But for right now, we're just going to be ignoring the Properties panels and the timeline. We're just going to be focusing on the 3D modeling part of it. So as you probably noticed, you have right here this grid. This grid has nice little helpful lines to make sure you know that everything's in place and in the right spot. And you'll also notice that you have these little arrows right here. This arrow right here goes to the z-axis and controls the z-axis, and this little arrow right here is the x-axis, and this little arrow, the green one, is the y-axis. If you take these arrows, like for example, let's say we take the z-axis arrow and we drag up, we're just moving the object up and down the z-axis. Or if we take the y-axis arrow and we drag side to side, we're just moving the object in the y-axis. This makes it helpful to know exactly what direction you're moving or where you are in the 3D modeling program, because it can get a little confusing. Also right here it tells you exactly where you are in your viewing. So like the grid, to help you manage your 3D modeling and to see every single view, you can go into different types of views. Like for example, if you go over here, you can go into top, bottom, front, back, right, left, and camera view. So you can always check any angle to make sure from any view that your 3D model looks great. So if we were to go into camera view, this is what we would see. Or you can go into front view or left view. And you can also edit in these different types of views and make sure everything is in the place that you want it. So we're going to go into front view with the orthographic perspective, just because that's the way I like it. And we're going to stick it in the cube in the very center of the grid. So now that we know how to move around in Blender and how to change the different views, what we're going to do is we're going to learn how to directly edit this object right here. So first, to directly edit it, what you have to do is select it. Now it's already selected as a default, but if you were to be messing around, you want to know how to select it anyway. So to select an object, what you do is you right click on it. Now unlike other programs, you have to left click on it, you have to right click. So let's right click on this camera right here. And you'll notice how the camera turns like this yellowish color, and there's these two axes that appear. If you're in a different view, there might be three. So let's select back, let's right click back onto the box. Now since we have the box selected, you can do multiple things. You can use your axes to move it around. You can right click on it and drag it around like this to move it around without messing with the two axes. Or you can hit the S button and you can scale it up, or you can hit the R button and you can rotate it around. You can do lots of things once you have it selected, but you have to select the object to actually move it and do things to it. But let's say, for example, we don't like the square, we think it's kind of boring, so we want to delete it. You just hit your delete button and you hit OK, and it deletes. But we want to add in a new object. So to do that, you can either do Shift A, and this options of what we want to add in appears. Like you can add a camera, a lamp, force field, text. We're not going to deal with amateurs, those are later. Or different types of surfaces, but what we're going to deal with is the meshes. You could do any object you want, but I'm just going to do a icosphere, just because I think it sounds cool. So it appears right here. Any object you import will always appear where your dotted red and white line is, which you can move by just left clicking anywhere you want. So our icosphere has appeared right here, and I'm just going to drag it into the center of my grid. Right there. I'm going to size it up by just doing S right there. I'm going to rotate it a little bit just because I want to. Alright, there we go. And if you want to zoom in a little bit to see your object, you can just do Shift plus and you can do Control plus and Control minus, and it'll zoom you in and out. If you have a mouse, you can just do your little scroll button and it'll scroll you in and scroll you out. Next thing we're going to learn how to do is how to directly edit this icosphere here. The mode you're currently in is object mode, where you can move around your object like this. But mode we want to get into is editing mode. In editing mode, you can directly edit and change the shape of the icosphere. So if you go down here, you can select editing mode. You'll notice when you go into editing mode that the shape looks different. It might turn kind of orangish on your screen, and you may just select parts of the icosphere. So for instance, right now I'm just selecting the edges, but you can also just select the vertices by changing and clicking right here. Or you can select the faces by clicking right here. So let's say, for example, I want to take this vertex right here and stretch it out, or this one, because I want to mold my icosphere in that way. So I select the vertice I want to stretch out, and then I can use my little arrows right here and just pull it on out. I can also raise it up a little bit. And there you go. Let's say I also want to do it to this one. Just stretch it on up, and then stretch it on over. Ta-da! So now if I want to go back into object mode so that I can rotate the object, I just go back down here, go out of editing mode and back into object mode. Then I'm just going to hit R and rotate it like this, and you have what semi looks like a cat's face. Alright, so that's the end of this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. Today we just learned how to mess around in the 3D modeling area right here. I hope you'll tune in for the next one.